96 Rock, Bridget and Nick. It is time to talk some Friday Night Lights, preview the Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown presented by Mercy Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Meyer. We have the one and only Tom Gamble on the line from In-Game Sports. Good morning, my friend. It's been a while since we last chatted.
I was going to say, now, who am I speaking with? This is Sue. Do I remember you? But no, seriously, congratulations, and I'm sure you getting away this week. I'm sure you drove exceedingly fast away from the house. I vaguely remember those days. Yes.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like coming to work. I mean, yeah, it's still work, but it's like it is a nice little break. You don't have to worry about diaper changes and which one is crying and stuff like that. So it's been.
Now
nice.
Here's the bad news. Rarely, I mean, you're usually by now you've used. Bridget's waving the white flag, right, on anything, whether it's the Uber or selections. But she actually now has a 4-3 lead over you because last week you guys were 3-3. She opted in last week's Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown game. She opted for the road team Princeton, which remained undefeated by winning at Fairfield.
Right.
And then tonight, let's just review. We'll get to this, so we'll get to the Showdown game experience. But she got the selection. She picked Lebanon over Kings. Now, I think this is an even one tonight, but nonetheless, in fact, I'll just jump in and talk about that. This is going to be a fun one. I mean, these are rival schools. Now, Kings has won the last 9.
Okay.
So this is identical, though. They're both 4-3. They're 3-3 in the ECC. Kings is 31-4 entering this season the last 3 years. They went to the state semifinals D2 last year, but this Lebanon team, Kings has lost 3 of its last 4. Lebanon's won 2 in a row and won 3 of its last 4. It's at Lebanon. It'll be a crazy atmosphere. We had a pep rally at the Lebanon Skyline Chili this week, and I got to tell you, these teams are both pumped. And there's those rivalries where they don't want to use the H word, right?
Yeah.
But you can tell they don't. They genuinely respect one another, shall we say? But maybe they don't like one another.
Yeah.
So that's where we are tonight. Kickoff is 7:00. At Lebanon, and we've got some others. Now, we had a couple games last night, actually, in Northern Kentucky. Cooper got by Scott. Dixie Heights was a winner over Connor. A couple rare Thursday games. We got a big slate of games tonight, including, how about Wyoming?
Yeah.
They've won 74 in a row. If they win tonight, it'll be 75. They've got the longest regular season winning streak in Ohio high school history. And a little later in this conversation, we'll tell you about the big Wyoming game next week in the Showdown. But here we go. Let's look at tonight. LaSalle at St. Xavier, king of North Bend Road, of course.
Right.
Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock, Mount St. Joe. It's Cleveland St. Ignatius at Moeller.
Ooh.
Moeller wrapping up the GCL South title last week with a big win at Elder. So that was a big one for Moeller. Got off to a slow start, but they're playing very well. In the GCL co-ed, Kettering Alter takes on your alma mater, Baden, which is undefeated. That'll be at Hamilton tonight.
Right.
McNicholas is at Bishop Fenwick. The infamous GMC game between East hosting West, the Battle of Lakotas. Boy, oh boy, talk about two teams. And look, don't sleep on West now. After that slow start, 0-2, their defense is as good as any. That'll be interesting. Sycamore at Mason in the ECC. Now, how about this one? Winton Woods, which now cannot win the league if Milford wins tonight, in theory. So how about that? I mean, you look at Anderson got past Winton Woods. Milford is undefeated. It's at Winton Woods. So Winton Woods trying to find its offense a little bit. Their defense is really strong. It'll be interesting because Milford is undefeated, number 1 in the Harbin ratings. Anderson's at West Claremont. Good East Side game. In the CHL, I mentioned that Wyoming. To get to 75 in a row, they have to win at Marymount. Indian Hill is hosting Finneytown in the Miami Valley Conference. Roger Bacon at CHCA. A couple rival games in Northern Kentucky. Newport Central Catholic. Bellevue, Dayton. And they're 1 week away from the last week of the regular season. East Central just rolling everyone again. They host Greensburg tonight, and Lawrenceburg is on the road at Connorsville. So there's always, it looks like another nice night right before we flip over the temperatures from like 85 to 58. I think that starts tomorrow. But nonetheless, it is October, and it looks like a pretty nice night for high school football.
Totally, and lots of good matchups that have a lot of implications for postseason seedings and stuff like that, and it's always a good time. But let's look ahead to next week and make Bridget and Nick's game picks for the Showdown game. Now, since I've been out, Bridget, like you said, overtaken me in the standings. She has 4 wins. I have 3. I need to catch up. You, the listener, can join in on this as well. We're going to post the matchup on the 96 Rock Cincinnati Facebook page. You can vote which team you want to go with, Team Nick or Team Bridget or the schools. Just comment on that post using the hashtag contest, and then we will randomly select a winner from the comments. They will grab tickets to the game next week, plus a prize pack that includes a Skyline Chili gift card, a Meyer gift card, other goodies that Tom will throw in there. Get you all tailgate ready. So, Tom, what is our matchup next week?
Well, here you go. It's Indian Hill at Wyoming. And this is really the perennial game to determine the Cincinnati Hills League championship. Now, I'm going to give you, Nick, I'm going to give you two quick numbers here to consider.
All right.
Wyoming hasn't lost a league game since 2015. And, in fact, obviously they've got these 74-game winning streak, and they're at home. Now, but don't sleep on Indian Hill. How about this one? Indian Hill, John Rodenberg. People go, John Rodenberg. Yes. Year number 2. John Rodenberg has won state championships, to my knowledge, is the only one to have done this. In Ohio, twice at Moeller, 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
In Kentucky, Covenant Catholic. And in Indiana, Ron Colley.
Wow.
How about that? I mean,
That's
he's won
crazy.
a state title in all three. This is year 2 at Indian Hill. Now, they struggled last year. Look, they were young, they were injured, but this season they're 5-2. They're undefeated, 4-0 in the CHL. And they're on a 4-game winning streak. So you got kind of the Rodenberg factor. Is it time for Wyoming? Or you've got Wyoming, which just simply put doesn't seem to lose.
I mean,
so who are you going with that?
I mean, I the numbers, I have to go. I mean, I have to go Wyoming. I cannot. I have to get back into this. I can't. There's no way I can let Bridget outdo me in football picks. So I've got to pick Wyoming in this one. I do think it's going to be a close game, like you said, but I'm going Wyoming all the way to keep that win streak alive.
All right, so there you have it. Bridget took Lebanon tonight, so you get Kings. Again, we'll be at the Kings-Lebanon game tonight in the Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown. Kickoff 7 o'clock at James Vandegrift Stadium. He will be there. He's our honorary captain tonight.
That's
You
cool.
don't see that very often. Yeah, that is cool. So got a lot of fun stuff out at Lebanon. If you can't make it, we got you covered on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Xtown Showdown. Again, that's at Xtown Showdown. Updates, videos, highlights, all sorts of preview stuff today during the day, our Mercy Health matchup, lots of goodies. Check it out at Xtown Showdown.
Perfect. And, Tom, before I let you go, since I haven't had the chance to talk to you in the last 3 weeks, what the hell's going on with the Bengals, brother?
Nick, you have to admit, and I know obviously you've been watching, it's troubling. And, here's the one thing I can tell you, and I trust me, I'm not hearkening back to the Marvin Lewis era.
Right.
But when you hear coaches and you hear players say, we've just got to play better, we've got to fix things, but you don't really get specific answers of how that's going to happen. I'm a little bit nervous. And look, it's clearly Joe Burrow, the injury. I mean, come on.
100%.
This offense, what else would it be? Now, don't get me wrong. There have been some offensive line. They still don't seem to run it real well. But, I mean, I will tell you talk about a game they have to win.
Totally.
Have to win.
Totally.
I mean, if they don't win this week and you're 1-4 and losing to Tennessee and Arizona back-to-back,
that's
very, very troubling.
Then you got the Seahawks.
And I mean, look at this.
Yeah, you got the Seahawks coming back. You go in the bye week, then you got to go to 49ers. That's a loss right there. I mean, come on.
San Francisco, you still got Kansas City. And look, Arizona's weird, man. I mean, right? They had a big lead against the Giants, who were woeful. They surrendered that. Then they beat the Cowboys. Then they hang in there with the 49ers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't know what you're going to get. And these teams have, I mean, who would have thought at Tennessee, that first drive, which ends in the field goal, you're thinking, oh, man, the Bengals are going to roll Tennessee. Then they do nothing the rest of the game. So,
and then that defense.
Nick, I don't know.
The defense, I mean, they're on the field so long. I mean, Tennessee that 10-minute drive against – you don't see that in the NFL ever, a 10-minute drive. Eat up the whole quarter.
Yeah, and I'll leave you with this. It's like a high school football coach that one year goes 9-1 or 10-0, and suddenly the next year he doesn't have the personnel, and people are like, what the hell? Well, look, he still knows how to coach, and that's what I would tell you about Joe Burrow. You don't have the couple years that he did back-to-back to warrant the richest contract in NFL history, and suddenly you can't play quarterback.
Right.
So clearly it's the injury. They're changing the plays. They're not throwing the ball down the field. I mean, but it'll be interesting to see what happens this weekend.
Yeah, looking forward to some high school football tonight and all the sports action throughout the weekend. And, Tom, we always appreciate you doing all the legwork for us, keeping us up to date on all the high school football in your area. Bridget and I will be back at full strength next week. Tom, I know that You really miss Bridget berating you in the mornings, so I know you're looking forward to that.
Well, Nick, and hopefully for your sake, next week it's 4 and 4 up, 4 down. Because if it's 3 and 5, you're going to have to really recover
I'm going
late.
to have to listen to that
go.
for a long time, and I don't want to do that.
Appreciate it.
Always a
Welcome
pleasure, my
back.
friend. Thank you, sir.
You got it.